So what the AU wants to develop a market within Africa. In most cases, countries, they grapple competing with other countries like in the EU. It's a protected market. For you to export something to the EU, remember I was talking about the cheat device from VW? They've got laws, the barriers to entry. They will measure your products, they will tell you it doesn't meet the EU standards. Okay? So you want to break in, you want. If somebody buys from you, then they'll intercept and say these are substandard. Take it back wherever you're bringing. So to avoid those barriers to entry, Africa is a thriving market yet to be tapped. So we need to work together here. Okay? We can export even copper cables just for households. Zambia can do some value addition on our copper instead of exporting the ore. And then take these copper cables, and now we're talking about electric vehicles. There are a number of countries that are quite ambitious, they want to get into electric vehicles. Let's export all this metal within ourselves, okay? So for us to be able to achieve that, we need infrastructure, proper infrastructure. All the elements of the infrastructure I've spoken about, they actually talk about it. Okay. Yeah, so basically, EIZ, there's a lot that we do. From accreditation, remember I spoke about professionals, but also starts with students. So it's very important that you as students, you are all accredited with the EIZ. There are special CPD events which are arranged through Madam Edith and the registrar and secretariat. You'll be able to access those. It's commendable what management is doing here at the university, bringing people from industry to talk to you. Very important. But also at EIZ, you can access virtual platforms which are established. So you need to be accredited to the EIZ. We've also got graduate attributes where we embark on journey with the International Engineering Alliance. The International Engineering Alliance is a multilateral agreement of countries, okay? So basically, the way I explain this, if you've got a driver's license from the RTSA, the RATs are here in Zambia. This driver's license, you can drive all the way from Botswana to South Africa. At any checkpoint with the police, they'll ask driver's license, you give them that one. It's written SADC at the end there, okay? So you qualify to use it. I've used my driver's license in Germany before, outside in the EU. Driving from Germany to Switzerland, even to France, I've driven. They'll stop you, you show them this license, they're all decided. But of course they've given, you cannot drive for more than 90 days. You have to apply for that. That's what they say. Now it's the same with the engineering, okay? The engineers that we produce here, the card that you are given by my registrar here, unfortunately, in certain jurisdictions, you cannot use it. You produce it, they say, what is this now? So now we are saying, most of our engineers, even in South Africa, for them to practice, our engineers who go to South Africa, they've got the Engineering Council of South Africa. They are made to write examinations, okay? Start writing exams, and then when you pass, they say, okay, you're an engineer, they give you that license. But you've seen, most engineers who are coming from there, we don't make them write any tests yet. They work in our mines. Some engineers come from China, they'll produce, or from Australia, work in the mines there. So we are saying now, going forward, we need to subscribe to the International Engineering Alliance, okay? There's what is known as the Washington Accord, which is a multilateral agreement for engineers. So there are certain steps that we need to go through there. The benefits, of course, is professional mobility, which I've spoken about, but also enhancing engineering education. We had a chat because we are going to make a fresh application. Is it this year or next year for a provisional license? End of this year. At the AGM, we had the chairperson for the International Engineering Alliance. She was a guest speaker there. She delivered a keynote speech. Professor Elizabeth Taylor. So we want to achieve the Washington Accord in the first instance, but it's quite a lot of work. If we put Northrise University, they'll bring accessors here to check the laboratories, the quality of the teachers, the lecturers, they access everything, okay? It's quite laborious steps that you need to take. And if you fail, they come in, they check, you fail. For you to apply again, you have to wait 2 years, okay? So I think preliminarily, we put up teams. We started with the University of Zambia, and CBU, and Mulungushi University. Registrar, we included Mulungushi here.
No, civil.
Yeah, and then we started civil engineering. The number of courses which we think we've got likelihood of passing. Okay, so they will be bringing those accessors. Quite intimidating. We'll come in and check everything, those professors from Singapore, from wherever. So it's a multilateral group. When they want to make sure that when they admit you, you've got the right quality which you represent. Okay? So it's a journey that we have started, and we are talking because one of the qualifications, of course, you should have had some graduates. From here, we have only started. And I'm very sure, last time I did take a tour, looking at the infrastructure, later on we're going to see. I know Northrise University stands a very good chance to help us get admitted into the IEA. For the Washington Accord, and then we've got the Sydney Accord for technologists, and the Dublin Accord is for technicians and craftspersons. These are the next steps that we are going to take. Those ones are actually more laborious. I want to move faster here. So the International Engineering Alliance, I've already spoken about it. We've got a mentor. We are being mentored by Engineering Council of South Africa as we go through this journey, because they have actually gotten all the accords. They've got the Washington Accord, the Sydney Accord, and the Dublin Accord. So they're helping us. Nigeria got what is known as a provisional license just last year, and Mauritius. So we are making application at the same time with the Botswana, our colleagues in Botswana. So the EIZ is showing you the way that we want to achieve high levels of engineering excellence, and you should be proud to be part of the EIZ. Yeah, so basically, there are many factors which affect the quality of engineering education in Zambia, and over the years, we've been quantifying these factors, which include lack of periodic review of the curriculum, insufficient client investment and equipment, the facilities continue being dilapidated, lack of adequate industrial attachment. These are issues that we are speaking for. For instance, we want to link our students to industry. Look at what I did in Germany. At the university, immediately you are doing that, you have to pick. Are you going to do your induction at BMW or VW? You have to pick. It's your choice. When you're going there, everybody knows that this is the student who has come. And they've got already a program for you. Today you're starting in this department, tomorrow in that. You write your thing, it's assessed from industry. The assessment is from industry, both from industry and from academic. They put it together, and that's your graduation. So we are trying to ensure that we lobby for policies which are going to make industrial attachment mandatory. So industry has got a responsibility, a corporate social responsibility to assimilate our students. Right now, industry, all they do is to file in their tax returns. They should file in even how they're supporting the country in terms of industrial attachments for children. ZCCM, when it was there, it was able to do that. But with our private sector, which has grown with capitalistic ideologies, most of them are not responsible. But as EIZ, we're trying to move this. Okay. And basically, the lack of industrial attachment has produced a lot of skill gaps. We have asked industry to give us some of their observations on the deficiencies that our graduates have. And most of them, they talk about this. In terms of academics, brilliance, our students are very good. But you find that since they had no industrial attachments through their progression, most of them are not able to add value to their institutions. So the egg chicken question here, what comes first? So we need to move corporates and industry to ensure, to make it mandatory for them to take our students. And we should be able to evaluate them on that aspect. That is the main one. And then also I've spoken about laboratory equipment, for instance. You can have a graduate, he has not seen practical equipment, but actually has seen it drawn, okay, in textbooks or on the computer. So when they get in industry, they cannot relate. On site, they need to actually take samples of material and conduct tests and write a report. So there are these gaps, okay? The investment in laboratory equipment. We need to do much work there. Investment in the actual infrastructure, I've already spoken about it. Our observation is that the quality of engineering education in Zambia has declined, And as such, it requires urgent investment as regards to equipment, technology facilities, and the infrastructure itself. Furthermore, we need stronger collaboration between universities and industry. And this must be formed to enhance investment in research and development. Talking about research and development, it's quite sudden that every year we come up with a national budget. In the national budget, there's no budget line which talks to national research and development. Our colleagues in the EU, for you to belong to the EU, there are certain factors that you need to meet. So every country needs to budget not less than 4% of their budget for research and development. The USA, every year, allocates 400 billion just to research and development. Even during the time of COVID, when you thought during COVID maybe they won't be researching, actually they did more research during COVID. They climbed, they went about 600. In China, we're